You my path to helping our business grow 90 times bigger than what it is now. Hey, this is Dan, and currently I run and manage a multi-million dollar business that we help tax advisors scale their businesses to six or even seven figures per year with tax advisory. And so in this video, what I want to share with you is my mastermind plan to helping us go from $150,000 a month. Currently, we're doing more north of $150,000 a month. We're doing about $400,000 a month. And what I'm projecting in my head, and I want to put it on pen to paper to remind myself what was I thinking at the time. So the purpose of this particular video is so I can reflect back on what was I thinking, how was I thinking through things. Maybe I was wrong, maybe I'm right. Maybe I called my shot before it happened. And so the whole purpose of this is for one, to train myself, and two, to train someone else. And also, so I can look back in 3 years or 2 years, or even a year from now and say, did your hypothesis come out to be what it is? And so here's the current lay of the land. Okay. So our business right now, we run webinars, we run events, all the way to growing our to become part of our higher end programs, which are $30,000 a year or $60,000 a year, and that's really the two projects or the two things that we get people into. And we do north of, right now at the time of this recording, we're November, we will probably crack past 300,000. Well, we already cracked past 300,000 cash collected. We'll probably do north of 375, maybe 400, maybe 450 if we're doing good. But the idea here is how am I thinking through these mental models? So first thing, I have to look at our current metrics. So one of the things that I realized as we were growing and scaling past $1 million a year was that the majority of the people, even you right now watching, even you watching back, they don't do the math. They don't even just do the marketing math. They just don't know what they don't understand metrics. And for so long, for some reason, I never did it either, because I get emotional. And the reason why I got emotional is because I didn't understand the math. And so once I started to understand the math, then the path made sense. And so right now, at the time of this recording, we're spending north of about $100,000 a month. Okay. And before that, I'm going to give you some context here. We were spending roughly about $50,000, maybe $60,000 a month on ads. And we were making probably about 180, 210, 215. Like that's how much we were making in revenue, right? And it was kind of teeter-tottering there, hereabouts. But there was a couple things that were kind of hindering us. So as you know, we do live webinars. That's how we get customers. We do live webinars. And so our webinars, we do them every week. So we do one a week. So that's 4 webinars a month. And we do them live. And we run ads to fill up these webinars. And so on average, we get about 450 registrants for those webinars per week. And so if you just do the math on that, we're doing somewhere around, let me do the math here. 450 times 4. We're doing about 1,800 new leads a month, which it's kind of cool. But then what we do from there, we get about 20% of those people to show up to that webinar. So about 360 live people that we get to present our material to per month. Okay. From that 360, on average, we get about maybe 10% of people to buy. Okay. So we get about 36 clients per month on the front end that pay for $397 thing at the time of this. Well, I'm going to show you how I'm planning to 90x our company and if this even makes sense, right? And I'm going to look back in the future and say, did this work? At the time of this recording, it's actually working. Now, there's a longer life cycle to it, but it's already working. So this is how I know most of it is working. Okay, and I'm going to show you the numbers. Or I'm going to talk you through the numbers. So we sell 397. Okay, so 3 times 97 times that, we make about 15 grand on the front end. Okay, not a lot of money. We spent 15 grand, make 14 grand. Not a very good turnout. But where we make up our money is we sell 15 or $30,000 packages for 6 months, and if they stay for a year, it's 30,000 or 60,000, right? Kind of how that works, and that's where we make up the bulk of this money, right? So let's say we got 36 clients per month, and we do a live webinar 4 times a week. I mean a month. Okay. If you watch one of my earlier videos, I talk about how I hijacked $100 million worth of value for only $300. One of those things being, how could I do more webinars than just once a week? Okay. So what I did was, if you look back at that video, I think it's called the $100 million lesson or something like that. But one of the things I realized is, yeah, we're making money, we're doing our business, we're building our business. We do like 3x return on every dollar we spend, right? But I was like, how do we speed that cycle up? Because the only way to like kind of get bigger is to speed it up. So I started thinking to myself, I said, how is this going to work? And so I said, we could spend more money on ads, but and that's one of the scenarios, spend more money on ads. However, there's 2 problems with that. We have 1 webinar a week, and we're charging $397. So if we're charging $397, but it's costing us $1,200 to get a new customer, there's something wrong there, right? That math does not make sense. And so the first thing I fixed, because I figured I actually found this out first, was how do I get more than 1 webinar per month? Okay, so I could fill up multiple webinars. So I can actually spend more on advertisement. So what I did was I said, okay, let's double it, right? Let's double it. So we went from 4 webinars a month to 8 webinars a month. Okay. And of course, with doubling it, we had to double the ad spend because we had to fill up both of them per week, right? So we were getting an average of 400 leads per week. Now we needed to average 800 leads per week. And so if you just think about it, we just have to multiply the spend, right? So we went from $50,000 a month to about $80,000, $90,000 a month in ad spend, okay? So, but that puts us in a deeper hole, right? Stay with me. So we doubled it, right? We doubled it, which means if all else being equal, we take that same 1,800 leads and we take that to 3,600 leads, 3,600 leads, because we doubled it, right? So we doubled the ad spend and we doubled the opportunities for presentation pitching, right? And so that means, hypothetically, we get 36 times 2, so we get 72 clients a month. Okay, now all else being equal, 72 times 397, we make 28,000. But on the front, you remember we spent 50,000 for that much, so we're spending 75,000 for 28,000. So we're losing 50 grand a month. Not a good scenario, right? Not a good scenario. I mean, we make it up because those 72, roughly about 11% of those people will buy a $15,000 program. So roughly 7 or 8. Okay, so 7 or 8 times 15,000. So we'd make $100,000 on that, right? So we spent 70,000. We make $100,000 on the front end, and we make 128,000. So it's a pretty decent return in the time frame. But we just couldn't operate like this because it got so, when we're trying to be aggressive with advertising, we lose a lot of money, right? And so it's scary to be in the hole for 30 days, $50,000 in the hole for 30 days to be like, oh my gosh, is this going to work? And so that was solution number 1. We do it twice a week, right? Twice a week instead of 1 time a week. All right. And so we did that, and then we doubled the ad spend, and it worked, right? It started working more. And we used, at the time of this recording, we used a live webinar and then an automated webinar to fill up 1 and then 2. So we do the live webinar so that we can test our conversion rate to make sure that it works. So we're trying to get a percentage increase every time from a live webinar. And if we can get that, then we try to replicate it automated. But the challenge is, obviously with automated, it's automated. So people know. We did find a workaround to that, which is cool. And I talk about that in another video. But then I said, okay, we got to do something about this 397 because we need to make more money. And so I was talking with David and we were having this conversation. I said, dude, 997, let's go for it. Right now, at the time of this recording, we have an event and we give them a software. So before we were giving the software for 30 days for 397. And at the time of this recording, it might change, but we have a software for a year for 997. And right now we have people paying us $300 a month for that same software. But now we sell it for an entire year for $1,000. Okay. So stay with me on the math here. Okay. So now we went from collecting $400 to $1,000. So we almost 2.5x'd it. How much cash we collect. Okay. So let's do the same math, extrapolate into a bigger picture, right? So let's say we do 72 clients, 28K. And what we realized, that's how much money we made. But that same conversion rate, one of the things that we realized is that we convert the same amount of people at $1,000 price point as we do a $400 price point. Why? Is not because we're so good. It's because the offer is good. It's not because we're good. We didn't get that much better overnight. The offer get that much better, so therefore we 2.5x'd it. So I guess it's a little bit less. So let's do the math here. 997 divided by 397. So it's about 2.5x. Okay, so we collect 2.5x more from one person than we would. So meaning we would need two and a half people to replace $1,000 person. So we said, why don't we just get more $1,000 people and see if the conversion drop significantly? And that was what we call a hypothesis. We made an educated guess to see if this works. And at the time of this recording, the hypothesis was right. We were good. So in essence, all we did was we give ourselves a 2.5x return on cash in the same week, two times a week. So instead of making $28,000 a month, we went from $28,000 a month, okay, in 72 clients. We went there, 72 times 997. We went to 71,000. The same ad spend, okay, same client. But now, instead of 28,000 that we collect, now we collect 71,000. That's literally $50,000 more per month. That's $600,000 a year extra just from one price change. Okay. But that's not all. Here's how this gets better, because now we are not selling off the back foot, meaning when we go into our high ticket conversion process, we have some money in the bank, so we don't have to be so aggressive on the sales. So it allows us a little bit of buffer room to make more profit. And you guessed it. That's right. Our actual conversions went up, meaning more clients bought our big program that bought the 997. Makes sense, right? They pay more attention. So in essence, we just gave ourselves a $600,000 raise, but that's not the cool part. The cool part is this. Now I could be so much more aggressive as far as advertisement. That's where the game is played. Okay. So because I was only making $28,000 per month for these particular tickets, we couldn't spend $200,000 because we'd be like $150,000 in the hole or $100,000 in the hole. We'd be in the hole so deep that it's like, to crawl out of that thing, we have to be perfect. We have to be immaculate. But because we collect more cash in the front, now we can be more aggressive. And so this allowed us at the time of this recording to double or even triple our ad spend. So at the time of this recording, we are probably close to doing $150,000 in ad spend, and we'll do north of $400,000 in cash collected. Now, this is only 4 weeks out of these 2 tests that I did. Number one, increase the frequency of webinars that we do. So we filled up one, we figured out how to fill up one. Then we're like, okay, let's figure out how to fill up the second one. Well, the best way to do it is just spend more money on ads. So we had more frequency. Then we should have probably done it the opposite way. Now thinking about it, we should have increased the price, which would allow us to be more aggressive to fill up that particular webinar. Then once we've increased the price and we can get enough people to that webinar, then we increase the frequency. Okay. And so now we can do twice a week. And when we get to a place, you guessed it, this is how I say we can 90x our business, right? Right now, we did two times faster, meaning we make money 2 times faster because we have 4 more sales opportunities a month. Instead of 4, we have 8 now. So you add the 4, right? So it's double. So we have double the opportunities to make money. So we double our money making opportunities. And then we double again because of our profit, our price point. So you multiply 2.5 times 2, and this gives you the amount of return we can get back per month and how big our business could be based on those multiples, right? So 2.5 times 2. So we're going to basically 5x our business if we just keep moving in the pace we're going. Meaning if we spend more money on ads, we're going to go 5x more because we can spend 5 times more money, right? And so at the time of this recording, we are on that path. We are about 3 to 4 weeks out of this test that I came out of my head thinking. So it takes a little bit of delay, and then everything in business takes a delay. So what you do today won't reflect probably for another 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So there's like a delay period of making things happen. When you make a change and then you have to like actually wait it out, see if it worked, it takes about 2 to 3, sometimes even 4 or 5 weeks, maybe even 4 or 5 months. And so sometimes it takes a little bit longer. With marketing, it takes faster because you're literally spending money, getting a result, spending money, getting a result. And so in that way, we can grow 5 times faster. Okay. And I hope you understand the math there, which means we can spend 5 times more and get 5 times bigger faster. Okay. So meaning we can 5x our business. So if we're making, the way that you have to kind of think this through, or the way that I thought it through, is let's say we're doing $150,000 a month times 12. That means we'll make 1.8 times 5. So hypothetically, if we just keep going down the path we're going, we should do $9 million a year, right? Let's divide that by 12. So we should hypothetically go up to $750,000 a month. Now, is that true? I don't know. But the numbers are kind of like tracking towards that number. Okay. Now, let me tell you how this gets even bigger. If now we got the price point that works, we're breaking even on the ads. Okay. So now the next variable is, okay, cool, spend more money. So if now we're spending $100,000 a month and we can fill up 8 webinars, let's double it again. Let's do 16 webinars. And then we double it to $200,000. Hypothetically, everything else being equal, we can get 16 webinars in. And if you do the math on that, this is how you think in terms of magnitudes. So let's do the math here. And this is the math I did in my head, and I'm doing this math backwards with you just so I can have a context for when I look back at this. So let's say we increase the frequency now from 4 times a week, 4 to 8 times a month to 16 times a month. So that means our earning opportunity goes from 72 times 2, right? Because we already went from 36 clients to 72 clients. Now we're going to double it. Okay, so now we go to 72 clients times 2. So now we can have 144 clients times 997, right? Now the ad spend is independent right now. Okay, but I'll tell you, on average, it costs us about $1,200 to get a customer. So 144 times 1,200. So we're spending about $172,000. Okay, to get this number. To make this number make sense, we're going to spend about $170,000. Okay, but now we have 144 clients. Okay, per month extra. And if you just do the math on the 3,600 leads, we go from 3,600 times 2. Now we get 7,000 leads a month. Okay. And this is how I'm saying we're expanding this magnitude. So I can show you how your business, or our business in this sense, is we're scaling in process, right? So like, first, we increased the price on the front end. Boom. We should have done that first, but we did that second. Then we increased the frequency of our opportunities to make money. So we took it from 1 time a week to 2 times a week. But now we figured that out and we can fill up both. So now we're going to spend more and fill up 3, right? So we put the third event in place, and then we go back to the marketing and say, fill it up. Okay. And hypothetically, if all else being equal, we would do 144,000 on the front end. Okay. Or like something like that, 144 times 987. So we'll do about 143, 5, 6, 8. And then on the back end, like I mentioned, we convert about 10%. So we'll do 144 times 0.11%. So we'll get about 15 clients times 15 grand times 15 grand, which means we make $237,600 plus the 43,568. So now we're making 400,000. Okay, so that's how the math makes sense. Okay, now we make consistently $380,000 just in the front end. That's not including upsells or renewals, which we make right now. We make about $250,000 a month from that, plus our software, right? And all of these things drop down into our continuity stuff, which is our software. At the time of this recording, we have a software that sells for $297 a month. Now, if they don't buy that big program, guess what they buy? They buy the 297. And we drop all the people that did, the 144 that did not buy, the 7,000 leads that did not, or because you do 144 minus, so 7,000 minus the 144 that bought the year-long Tax Maverick software. So now we have 7,000 people that we can offer them the software to pay us $297 a month. And that builds up the monthly recurring. And like I said, at the time of this recording, we have $250,000 a month coming in recurring from people that pay in payment plans for the big program, people that pay our $60,000 a year program, and also the people that pay the $297 a month. And so in this way, we collect $380,000 on the front end, then another $250 thereabouts on the back end. And this just stacks on top of each other, right? So 250 time plus 380,000. So we'd be doing about $630,000 a month, right? And so if you do the math on that times 12, what does that get you? 7.5. So pretty close to the number that I told you. Probably a little bit of variance in there, about 1 million or though. So now we have 16. Now, guess what? Double it again. So we go from 16 webinars a month to 30 webinars a month. So we do one every single day. And so we're just pushing the boundaries now. How do you push the boundaries? Ad spend. So at this point, we double it again. We're spending roughly, to get that kind of number, again, if we do, to be fair, this is how you do like the mental model math to figure out what can this possibly grow to? What could you possibly hit up there and get to this number? Just like hypothetical numbers. Everything is a hypothetical until it's done. So these are all just numbers that I'm like, okay, these are things I think we can hit, and these are the roadblocks that these are the things that we have to kind of check off as we're going. So my first pillar is, can we make money on the front end? Can we fill up this webinar? Can this webinar break even? If so, increase the amount of webinars that we have, and then start filling them up one by one. So for an example, our first pillar that we have to fill up is the 2 webinars per week. 2 webinars per week. Then we double it again, and we have to fill up 4 webinars per week, hypothetically. Not 4 webinars, 3 webinars per week, right? 16 divided by 4. 4 webinars a week. So we have to fill up 4 webinars per week. And so that's double it, right? So let's imagine it costs us about $1,200 to get a customer. Okay. And we double it again to 30 days a week, 30 days a month. So we do 30 days times, let's see here, 30 days. And we're doubling the amount of people we get per webinar, right? And so we're doubling it again. So 144 turns into times 2, that's 288 clients a month for $9.97. Okay. Now, the way that I do how much ad spend I'm going to be doing, I'll just multiply 288 times 1,250. Okay, so I'll be spending $360,000 a month times 1,250. Now, this is all under the assumption that we don't get any better, and we don't get any referrals, and we don't get any partnerships. But all those things will happen. Okay. And then, so we get 280 people, which we're spending about $360 per month, $360,000 a month. And we're making 288 times 997. Okay. We're making 287,136 plus, remember I said we get about 11% of those people to buy a big ticket program. So we'll go 288 times 0.11. So we'll get about 31 clients per month, 31 times 15,000. So we'll make 465 off of that. So 465,000. So you do that plus the 87,300. So we'll be making $750,000 a month. 752, 136. And so now we have on the front end, we're almost at $1 million a month, almost a $10 million a year business on the front end. It's not including back end sales, which are upsells, a $60,000 a year program, and the monthly recurring that comes from the software. Okay. Now the software is the game changer here. The reason why the software is the game changer is because every one lead that comes in from that $7,200, let's see, 72 times 2, 7,200 times 2, because we doubled it. So 14,000 leads a month. Okay. Of those people, we're going to take out 288 because those people bought the year-long program. So we have 14,000 leads per month. Now, hypothetically, if we get 1%, we'll get 141 people to pay per month $297. So that's $41,000 a month that compounds every single month. That's right. So that's how this gets so crazy, and how I imagine we're going to take this on that same $360,000 a month, or maybe $400,000 a month on ad spend. I project to make $750,213 plus, maybe on the back end, we're doing about $500,000 extra per month. We'll do about $500,000 extra, because we typically make roughly about what we make on the front end on the back end, about 50-50, maybe a little bit more, like 60-40 as far as recurring revenue. So we do that. So we'll do 752, 136 plus roughly, let's say 450,000 from recurring. So we'll be doing $1.2 million a month off of $400,000 Okay, 1.2, 202, 136, a million a month off of $400,000 a month, which gets you to times 12. That gets you to about $14 million a year business. Does that make sense? So now, once we get that rolling, we're spending $400,000 a month times divided by 30 days. Okay. So we're spending about 13 grand a day. Okay. 13 grand a day to make, let's say 1.202, 136 divided by 30. We're spending 13 grand a day to make 40 grand a day. Pretty good exchange, right? Now, how about we go from 13 grand a day. So now, once we have this system dialed in where we're doing 1.2 million a month, guess what we do again? You guessed it. Fill up all the webinars. Fill them all up more. Just add more people to it, right? Hypothetically, it should work. Now, of course, there's going to be a lot of things that break. And this is not exactly a science. And what is actually a science, but there's an art to making sure that this works. Okay, so we take $13,000 a day and we double that, right? With the same ratio here. So we say 13,000 gets me 40,000. So we do 13,000 divided by 40,000. Sorry, 40,000 divided by 13,000. What's the return? A 3x return. Okay, 3x return. So now what we do here is we take that 13,000 per day, then we multiply that times 2. We spend $26,000 a day times 30 days. So we're spending $780 a month. So we go to $780 a month. Okay. But then we multiply that 780, guess what? By 3. Now we're doing $2.3 million a month. Okay. And that's how you take it to that next level. And so now you have 2.3 million a month times 12. That takes us to a $30 million a year run rate. And at this point, we should be able to have referrals. We should be just going gangbusters. So at this point, we're doing 28 million a year. We should be getting roughly 500 to 600 clients, new $997 clients per month. And the reason why I know that that's very true is because I've seen Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, Russell Brunson. I've seen them all do it, and they do $100 million a year. And that's because we only have 2 programs at the time of this recording, plus the software. Imagine if we had more. How much more we could stack on in the back end. Imagine we had $100,000 a year program. How could that take that to the next level, right? So in that very cool way, this is how I project that we could hypothetically 10x our business or even 9x our business based on the math, right? So if we're saying back to the beginning, we're doing $150,000 a month times 12, and we're taking it to a $2.3 million a month run rate. So we go from $1 million okay, with $26,000 a day, $780,000 a month. We take that to $1 million, so it gets us $1 million over here in the top beginning. So right now, we'll do north of 2.5, maybe a little bit more than that this year. So let's say we do 1.8 million, okay, this year with that, just the numbers that we had before, $50,000 a month, $600,000 a year, something like that. Okay, now let's say that $2.3 million a month, boom, times 12 minus 1.8. Okay. Oh, sorry. So 2.3 million times 12 divided by 1.8 million. We 15x'd our business in 1 year. See that? That, my friend, is how you do the math that determines the path and how you can take this to the next level with just math and just doing financial projections in your head and then just making them a reality by implementation. And the coolest thing is that this is just with paid ads. This is not including affiliates. It's not including cold traffic. It's not including anything else. That's how we can take it to the next level. So if you like this video and you like the math and you understand like, hey, this is how business works, you have to be able to understand math. You have to be able to understand how to really understand metrics so you can make the right decisions and make the right moves. And so I just mapped out for you guys how we plan to do $2.3 million a month, which honestly, I have actually a map to $100 million a year based on, other people I've seen in our industry that do $100 million a year. I'm like, cool, let's just follow their path and see where we go. If we get close to $100 million a year, that's cool. If we don't, I wouldn't be that upset if we hit 50 million a year. And so hope that helps you guys out. I know it helps me. If you like this video, comment on it, like it, share it, whatever you like to do. I do these videos so I can look back and educate myself on what I was thinking, how I was thinking. Was I right? Was I wrong? What was the thoughts that I had? Because there's been times on this YouTube channel that I've looked back and I'm like, I actually said some good stuff back then. And they're coming to fruition now. And so I just do this for me in the future to look back and say, what was I thinking at that point? Was I thinking the right things, the wrong things? Who knows? Only time will tell. See you guys later.